Hey, sports fans, what do you know about the Dallas Cowboys? One of the most successful franchises with Hall of Famers galore and enough Super Bowls and winning seasons to be considered one of the best and most recognized franchises in all of sports. From the playmaker to prime time to captain comeback, you may think you know all there is to know about the players in America's team. But today, we're going to explore 10 things you might not know about the Dallas Cowboys. And before we get to our list, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. All right, all done? Let's get on to our list. The Dallas Cowboys were responsible for the formation of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, in the late 50s, a man by the name of Lamar Hunt desperately wanted to own an NFL team. When he found out the NFL was trying to block his attempts, he did what any person would do who wasn't invited to join the club. He started his own. So Lamar Hunt founded the American Football League and started a football team by the name of the Dallas Texans. When the National Football League found out that the upstart AFL had a Dallas team, they decided to start their own, a little team that would be known as the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys quickly became the more popular team in Dallas, which ended up affecting Hunt and the Texans' ticket sales. Hunt and his Texans stuck it out in Dallas as long as they could, but after ticket sales were down and popularity waned, the team was faced with the reality that Dallas simply was not a big enough town to support two football teams. After the mayor of Kansas City promised Lamar Hunt attendance of 25,000 people per game, Hunt took his team and relocated them to Kansas City, and in 1963, the Dallas Texans became the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 9, Hall of Fame quarterback Deion Sanders attempted suicide while he was a member of the Cowboys. Yeah, primetime, Neon Deion, the greatest shutdown corner to ever live. Life on the field for Deion Sanders was never in question. You've seen the swagger, you've seen the touchdown celebrations, and many receivers he locked down. But what many did not know is that around Deion's 30th birthday back in 1997, the All-Pro's life off the field wasn't quite as rosy. According to his autobiography, Power, Money, and Sex, How Success Almost Ruined My Life, Sanders felt an emptiness so deep that he did not think he could get out of it, and he decided he didn't want to live anymore and was running on fumes. One day, Deion decided to run his car off a cliff at 70 miles per hour, and the car plummeted 40 feet. Sanders said he escaped without a single scratch or any significant injuries, and afterwards, he got on his knees to thank God and ended up devoting his life to the Lord. It was at that moment that Sanders found his faith and was able to turn his life around. As many know, Sanders speaks about his faith regularly, and one wonders if Deion would have ever found it if he hadn't literally hit rock bottom. Number 8, the Dallas Cowboys became America's team after a highlight film. We've all heard the Dallas Cowboys referred to as America's team, but has anyone ever really questioned why or how they got the nickname? Well, in 1978, a narrator by the name of John Facenda said, "They appear on television so often that their faces are as familiar to the public as presidents and movie stars. They are the Dallas Cowboys, America's team." And after that, the term became recognized by every sport and media outlet on the planet that happened to cover football. Now, the Cowboys were said to have spent the most on commercials and marketing during the 70s, which helped their rise in popularity. They even had the Dallas Cowboys News Weekly with a circulation of over 100,000 people. Not to be forgotten that the Dallas Cowboys also happened to be good in the 1970s, which didn't hurt people digest them being America's team and playing every Thanksgiving, but the term America's team certainly had nothing to do with their play on the field. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were inspired by a stripper. After general manager Tex Schramm spotted a scantily clad, busty woman receiving cheers from the crowd in the middle of a game between the Falcons and the Cowboys, an idea that would change the way sports viewed cheerleaders was born. You see, the woman in question, Bubbles Cash, was a popular stripper who was carrying cotton candy in each hand as she made her way to her seats at the 50-yard line and was getting more attention than the game itself. Schramm took notice, and he had an epiphany of sorts, which inspired him to create a cheerleading squad that was dressed similarly to Cash and decided to form an all-female cheerleading squad. Before Bubbles walked down those stands holding that cotton candy, the cheer squad was male and female. After Bubbles, the cheerleader's entire image changed and emphasis was made to find the best and most beautiful cheerleaders Schramm could assemble. He wouldn't stop there. The cheerleaders would be featured in magazines, newspapers, television, and even have their own one-hour documentary which aired before a Monday Night Football game. Number 6, only 2 Dallas quarterbacks have ever thrown for 30 touchdowns in a season. I know what you're thinking. This is the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best franchises in all of sports, with a longer list of Hall of Famers than some franchises put together, but in all of its glory, only 2 quarterbacks have ever reached the 30-touchdown mark. You know, Hall of Famer Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, they topped out at 27 and 22 respectively, believe it or not, and it wasn't until an undrafted player by the name of Tony Romo came along that the number would finally be eclipsed. Back in 2007, Tony tossed up 36 touchdowns and would be the first to top 30 in the Cowboys' previous 47 seasons. And then in 2019, Dak Prescott would be the second by throwing 30 on the dot. Number 5, Scissor Gate. One of the lesser-known facts about the Dallas Cowboys is one that the franchise has certainly tried to cut out of the public's memory. The incident happened in 1998 while Michael Irvin and teammates were taking turns getting haircuts from the team barber. Well, the alleged situation ended with Irvin stabbing his teammate, 325-pound guard Everett McIver, in the neck over wanting to get his haircut before him. McIver ended up needing stitches and didn't miss any games, while owner Jerry Jones stitched up the situation by brokering a 6-figure deal between Irvin and McIver so that there would be no criminal charges. Oh yeah, Irvin was on probation at the time, so Jerry didn't only save his teammate from a suspension, he also may have saved Irvin from prison. Number 4, the longest run in Dallas Cowboys history was done with only 10 men on the field. The 99-yard run by Tony Dorsett in 1982 was missing Dorsett's lead blocker, fullback Ron Springs. Dorsett, one of the league's fastest players, looks as if he was shot out of a cannon during the play as he bursts through the middle of the Vikings defense and then weaves his way through the secondary before taking it up the sideline for his 99-yard scamper. The fact that he did it without a lead blocker needs to be known because it makes the feat even that much more impressive. Number 3, Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith had the most successful running back and wide receiver season ever. In 1995, Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin tore up the league in a way we've never seen teammates ever do it. Michael finished the season with 1,603 yards, good enough for 4th in the league, and a trip to the Pro Bowl, and his teammate Emmitt Smith rushed for 1,773 yards and led the league in rushing on his way to an all-pro season. The duo would be the first wide receiver and running back combo to top 1,600 yards apiece in the same season, and they'd continue their dominance all the way through to the playoffs and lead the Cowboys to a championship. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys have the only Super Bowl MVP from the losing team. In 1971, when the Cowboys lost to the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl V, one might have expected the MVP to go to a quarterback, as had the previous 4 before it. Chuck Howley's 2-interception and fumble recovery performance broke the streak of quarterback MVPs and also took home the only hardware for the losing side. Of all the great performances from the losing team in 52 Super Bowls, Howley stands alone. It leaves some to wonder, will it ever be done again? Number 1 on the list, Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys and he immediately blew up the entire staff. In 1989, Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $140 million, and not too long after purchasing the team, Jerry fired the only head coach the Cowboys had ever had, Hall of Famer Tom Landry, and replaced him with a good friend of his, former Arkansas football teammate Jimmy Johnson. The move raised eyebrows, to say the least, but Jerry wasn't done shaking things up. A few weeks later, Jerry would fire legendary general manager Ted Schramm and replace him with himself. Jerry took over all managing operations for the Cowboys, and the football world was as stunned as the people he let go. In Jerry's first year in the role, the Cowboys finished 1-15, which was the second worst football season in the Cowboys' 29-year history. the critics would back off Jerry just a couple short years later as the Cowboys would win the Super Bowl in 1992. There you have it, 10 up, 10 down, 10 things about the Dallas Cowboys that not many of the biggest Cowboy fans may even know, and then a few that they may be trying to forget. If there's anything else you think we left off the list, drop us a comment down below, and if you haven't already done so, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of our content. All right, sports fans, until next time, have a good one.